As a kid, I loved making flipbooks. They were all I did in art class, whenever I had it. I worked really hard on one particular flipbook. It was around 50 pages long, I guess. It had a simple stick figure walking into the page, waving at me, and then walking off. I would look at it at least a dozen times the day that I made it. Then it got boring. You know how kids are, not entertained by one thing for very long. I tossed it under my bed and never gave it a second thought. A few months later, I was cleaning up my room and swept the stack of paper out from under my bed. I couldn't quite remember what it was. I flipped through it once and got a sweet taste of nostalgia. I flipped through it once more and noticed the pages hadn't aged or gained any dirt at all. I flipped through a third time. The little stick man walked onto the page, waved at me, but didn't walk off. Instead, a second stick man joined him. It waltzed up, having either an item in its hand or a severely disfigured arm. It's not like anyone could tell the difference. The second stick man walked next to the first stick figure, stood there for just a moment, then whacked the poor fellow upside the head. The stick figure fell, and the second stick man swung his stick at the other man again, and again, and again, and again. What I assume was its blood ran from the stick figure's rather jagged body. It looked like nothing more than smeared pencil stains. The killer stickman proceeded to bend down and tear apart the first stickman's body, limb by thin limb. Once he was done, he bent each one into characters and letters. He set them upon the page to form a single word. He grabbed the base of his own round head and tore it off. Then he tore off his legs and then one of his arms. His zigzagged body parts formed themselves into a second word. What I read made me burn the flipbook. You're next. A young man and his new bride were honeymooning in Paris. They were having a wonderful time when she decided to see if he truly loved her. She asked him if he would love her even if she wasn't beautiful. He told her he would. So she slowly started removing her makeup and revealing a birthmark on her face. He really loved her, but he was shocked when he saw it. After seeing his expressions, he left and didn't return. With time, the man began to fear the worst and went to the police. The police thought it was most likely that the girl simply had second thoughts about the marriage, but they checked out anyway and found no evidence of foul play. As the weeks turned into months, the man finally gave up on finding his beautiful wife, and his life fell into shambles. He was so filled with grief. Unable to hold a job or go on with his life, he took to wandering the world looking for anything that might ease his pain. Years later, in Borneo, he came upon a freak show in an old shabby building. He went in on a whim. In the last filthy cage, he saw a twisted, scarred, and mutilated woman rocking back and forth and groaning strange, animal-like noises. He screamed as he recognized the birthmark on his wife's face. It's your first night in your new apartment. Your stuff is still in boxes. Your furniture, with the exception of the mattress on the floor, hasn't arrived yet. The utilities won't be turned on until the next day, so you're making do without. A flashlight and some candles will do for light until you go to sleep. Despite the creepy feeling of being in a dark, empty apartment all alone, you chalk it up to nervousness and try to get some sleep. A sound wakes you up. You lay there for a moment, waiting to decide if it was real or just your imagination being too loud. When the sound happens again, you check your cell for the time. 2 in the morning. You get up using your cell phone for light, and make your way toward the kitchen, the apparent source of the noises. At first, you think somebody has broken into your apartment, but you choke down your reaction as you stare at the figure. It's a middle-aged man, wearing what amounts to striped pajamas and standing in front of the microwave with his back to you. Although seemingly solid, you can also see through his body. You're paralyzed, mostly out of fear, but partly out of curiosity. "Hey," you finally manage to say. The man looks in your direction, turning slowly. Your eyes open wide as you realize the man has no lower jaw, letting his tongue hang free. Your vision loses focus and the apparition disappears. A sound wakes you up. It's your phone vibrating against the floor. It's morning, or at least light is coming through the window. You're back on your mattress, and the missed call is from your mother. You're confused about the night before and still shaking from the experience of what you saw. Was it a dream? Or did you really see a ghost?